Metro. I'm Tia Graham on WDET, Detroit Public Radio. The Brightmoor community in the city of Detroit has had its battles, but despite the blight and vacant lots, the community has found a way to remain resilient through the years. The Brightmoor Music Series began in 2019. It wasn't an instant hit, but after a few weeks of word-of-mouth testimonies from community members, there was a demand for another one the next year. Now the event has continued to thrive at the Etheldra Mae Williams Park, located on Burgess between Lyndon and Acacia Streets in Detroit. And this 11-acre grassland was once blighted. It is now renovated and beautiful, and they will be hosting a 100th birthday of the namesake of the park. The Brightmoor Music Series will transform that space into a 1920s jazz club, headlined by songstress Pia Broden-Williams and her band. The bebopping-inspired evening, Puttin on the Ritz, is from 5 to 8 p.m., and we welcome in Michael Williams, the manager of Williams Park Alliance. As well, we have Pia here, who will be headlining the event. Thank you both for joining us on the Metro.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Of course. Now, Michael, I would love if you would correctly say the name of the park so that everyone knows exactly who the park is named after.
It's Etheldra Mae Williams, and Etheldra Mae Williams is my mother. Like you said, we had taken some blighted properties here in the Brightmoor community, cleaned up the blight. We had worked with the Housing Authority to tear down some of the vacant and abandoned homes, and we named the park. We created the park. We named the park after our mother, who would have turned 100 years old had she been alive on August the 8th. So this is a celebration of her birth, 100 years.
Wow, that's amazing. And Michael, why did you choose this particular theme? Because when your mom was born 100 years ago, she wasn't probably bebopping just yet.
No, she was probably in the midst of snapping her fingers, learning how to snap her fingers and such. But it's just something to commemorate. 1925, was the year. Let me say this also. We have just made an acquisition for the park. We were able to find a vehicle. It's a 1925 Gardner four-door sedan. The vehicle was actually made on August 1st of 1925, and my mother was born on August 8th of 1925. So it's a vehicle that needs some restoration, so we're going to make a restoration and have that as a permanent fixture here in the park. But it's something, 1925, the Roaring '20s, that's her year, so we wanted to do that to commemorate it.
And there is a theme, putting on the Ritz. And, for folks who aren't familiar with the Brightmoor community in general or the park, could you just explain the park a little bit? Because I know we've been speaking, you and I we go back a while now since the beginning of the Brightmoor Music Series. And since then, it's grown to be so much larger than I expected it to be. And I know possibly yourself as well. So could you talk about the expansion of it since its inception?
Absolutely, yeah. So we gather local talent and we put them in a showcase. Each year we have 8 different concerts, and we do it live every Tuesday, beginning the middle of July, and we end on the first Tuesday in September, so the Tuesday that follows Labor Day. 5 o'clock until 8 o'clock, live music. It's absolutely free. It's family friendly. It's fun. All you have to do is come on out to the park. It's, again, Etheldra Mae Williams Park at 14300 Burgess Street. We encourage you to bring a lawn chair or bring a blanket and tell a friend. We have vendors. We have food trucks. It's a lot of fun, and it's surprising. We're right here in the middle of the Brightmoor community. It is a beautiful thing.
It really is truly walking. When I went to one of the years, and I just walked through, and I just said to myself, you literally are just walking into a neighborhood, and then boom, there's music and food trucks and vendors out and old classic cars out. So you kind of just walk into this space in this new area. So could you talk about how you're going to transform this space as people turn the corner or they're driving down the street? They're going to see a 1920s theme in the park.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have banners that show images from the 1920s, from the, dare I say, the speakeasies, or from the nightclubs, let's say perhaps from the Harlem Renaissance. We want to call it the Detroit Renaissance. But we've got large banners that will be decked throughout the park, and it just gives a sense of what would have gone on in the 1920s. We're asking everyone to come dressed in their favorite and their best Art Deco outfits. So, ladies, if you have those flapper dresses with pearls and the ankle-length gloves, perhaps a cigarette with a cigarette holder, and a feathered headdress with netting on it, wear those. Gentlemen, if you've got a three-piece suit with a lapel on the vest and a chain timepiece, a pocket watch, the two-tone Stacey Adams shoes or spats, anything from the period that's Art Deco, 1920s and even early 1930s, we're asking people to wear. We've got quite a few people who are going to come out and be a part of this evening, and they will be dressed. So we're going to have a contest for the best dressed couple. There will be a prize. We will also have speckled throughout the park a number of 1920 vehicles, and as always with our series, any vehicle that is 30 years of age and older, if you bring the vehicle out, we give you preferential parking so you can park virtually pretty much next to the stage. So each week we have a classic car show.
Nice. And Pia, bringing you into the conversation. Pia, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So you're going to be headlining the event tonight. Can you talk about just performing within the neighborhoods and performing in front of folks, just the residents of the community?
Sure. The first time that my first experience with this particular festival was last year, and I was impressed. I was very impressed with Michael and what he has done with this park and in that community.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And Pia, are you from the city of Detroit? And if so, what is it like performing in front of Detroit audiences in particular?
Well, actually, I'm from Flint, and I've been performing now. Well, I performed in Detroit for many, many years, and it's been wonderful. It's been wonderful. The Detroiters have welcomed me with open arms. I feel very much at home there.
Yes, I was going to say one thing about Detroit and its audience. It will let you know if they like you or not. So, that's just a good feeling. And Pia, what excites you the most about just jazz in general, especially when you're going to be performing this particular brand of genre of jazz, which is like big band jazz?
I love jazz. I grew up listening to more contemporary, more smooth jazz. That's what my dad was a big fan of. But when I went to college, I became more educated in early jazz and got involved with singing with big bands, and immediately fell in love with that particular genre of jazz. So I do a lot of early jazz. I've just had such a wonderful, wide-ranging experience with different groups and different shows. And this particular slice of jazz from like the 20s, 30s, the 40s, I've got a lot of experience in.
Yeah. And right now we're talking about Puttin on the Ritz, a concert, a part of the Brightmoor Music Series at Etheldra Mae Williams Park. Our guests are Michael Williams, manager of Williams Park Alliance, and headliner of the event, Pia Broden-Williams. Michael, bringing you back into the conversation, you talked just a little bit about it. Of course, the namesake is your mom and the importance of your mom and dedicating that park to your mom. What does it feel like to have that park being used in such a positive way in the city?
Oh, it's absolutely wonderful, and I think that every day my mother is smiling down from heaven, thanking us for creating such a wonderful space. We bring life to this community every Tuesday and throughout our season. We have not only the Brightmoor Music Series, but we've had health festivals. We've had festivals for children. We do a holiday event where we light up actually 2.5 blocks. So we light up the park and we light up a block and a half that extends outside of the park. The community has accepted everything that we do. They love this, and we are happy to be a part of it. And the most spectacular thing is to be able to have attached to this my mother's name. What an honor it is to have a legacy that is named after such a wonderful woman as my mother.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about the Williams Park Alliance, of course, and the work that you do within that community, talking about the Brightmoor community, which is one that has been resilient regardless of what it looks like from the outside. Community members have always remained strong in the area. So if you could just talk a little bit about the improvements in the neighborhood that you've been able to see that's coming from other community groups and other folks, and maybe even the city of Detroit itself.
Well, our motto is transforming inner-city blighted properties into productive spaces of recreation. So we have partnered with quite a few other nonprofits and the churches around the area, and we're doing all that we can to beautify all the spaces here in the Brightmoor community. I mentioned that we had worked with the Detroit Housing Authority to be able to raise to the ground a number of the blighted and abandoned and burned out houses that were here in the park, and it's been a success. Other organizations come in, and we continue to invite other nonprofits to come in and see what's necessary or see if there's a possibilities of partnering with us. Just recently, we had an organization called STYLE, which is an acronym for teaching young ladies, sisters teaching young ladies elegance. STYLE, Sisters Teaching Young Ladies Elegance. And they've come into the park, and we've dedicated an area for them. They've created a community garden, and they're teaching these young ladies, they're from the ages, I believe, of about 8 to about 16 years of age. They're teaching them how to actually grow produce. And once this garden is going to be harvested, I believe sometime in September, they're going to actually donate the food to the community. So we work with a number of other nonprofits. We've had an organization called Hood Deeds that has come out, and they've done several events for children, and it's a lot of fun. We work with the Brightmoor Alliance. We work with a couple of the churches around here. So we're doing what we can to actually create a positive and wonderful environment in the Brightmoor community, which, as you mentioned, has had its challenges in the past, and now things are looking much brighter.
Which is something that I love to hear, and I love to stress that, especially hearing it from someone who is on the ground, 10 toes down, is making sure that the community is thriving. And my last thing to you about the community itself, for folks who are not familiar with Brightmoor, may drive through it, may have their misconceptions or their ideas about what's going on, what would you say to those folks who are just driving through?
It takes me back to something that the Honorable Coleman A. Young said when they were trying to bring the Grand Prix to Detroit. He simply said, "Y'all come." But I would leave it at that. Come on out.
I know he said something else underneath that. Coleman A. Young was something else. We always talk about his fiery conversations and speeches that he would often give. So that's what you just said, is come on out. And Pia, we have about 30 seconds or so. What can folks expect from your performance tonight?
Oh, we're going to bring a lot of energy. I have very talented musicians backing me. Lorenzo Rhodes on the piano, Michelle Urania on the sax and the flute, and James Wallace, Jay Wall, on the drums. It's going to be wonderful with the 1920s tunes, things that you didn't even know were that old. You might recognize some of these songs, a lot of them, but never knew that they were written that long ago.
Which is something I love. I love when I find new music it's new to me, but it's definitely not new to the airwaves. So I just want to say thank you both so much. Michael Williams is the manager for Williams Park Alliance. Pia Broden-Williams is a songstress and headliner for tonight's event, Putting on the Ritz at Etheldra Mae Williams Park from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Guests are encouraged to come dressed to impress. It's also a celebration of the 100th birthday of the park's namesake. Michael, Pia, thank you so much for joining us on the Metro.
Thank you so much.
Of course. The Metro is hosted by Robin Vincent and myself and produced by Sam Corey, Carey Jr. II, and Jack Philbrandt. Our engineer is Nate Bender. Music's done by Sam Bobian, and our senior producer is David Lyons. The Metro is a production of WDET, a listener-supported survey of Wayne State University. And this is WDET-FM, Detroit Public Radio, your connection to news, music, and conversation. Have a great day.